Salutations. Welcome back to Casual Conversations with Chandra. And I'm continuing on my museum tours while I was in Memphis. So the next museum that I went to was called STAX, and it was a music museum. So STAX was a record label, and they had a lot of artists, right? One of the big ones that they had was Isaac Hayes. I kind of feel like this was the house that Isaac Hayes built. But they had Al Green. They had exhibits in there for Tina and Ike Turner, which I'm not sure if they were on the label. But it just really showed how much civil rights and music were intertwined. And I think the music, helped us get through, the civil rights era when we were fighting for civil rights. And I think it's unfortunate that our music is not as powerful in that way today as it was then. When you first walk in, it had, they show you a video. I think the video is about 12 minutes. So they talk about STAX and all of the accomplishments and achievements they made. And then right after that, you go to a church. And I think I have a video of the church that I'll show. But the church reminded me of a little country church that my great-grandmother and I used to go to. I think it was called Jerusalem Baptist. And, back at that church, we didn't even have like a piano or drums or anything like that. Back in those days, we just had hand claps and feet stomping to make the beat. And this was a wooden church, and it just reminded me so much of that. So that was emotionally jarring as well. But they had a lot of exhibits. They had a lot of stuff about the Black Panthers, about different artists. They had stuff about Isaac Hayes. Again, I think this was the house that Isaac Hayes built. And they had his Cadillac on display, which actually had real 24-karat gold accents. I was like, okay. And, he was the Black Moses. So they had his desk there and his chair. And, it just was a lot of, with music and Black history. It was just really interesting. And it was emotional as well, but not as emotional as the National Civil Rights Museum. But again, I just feel like civil rights and music were intertwined. Like, can you imagine when everything in the United States was telling you that Black is ugly and Black is horrible and Black is bad, you would have James Brown come out and say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud. You know what I mean? Like the music, and I could just imagine like when everything is against you and you hear that song, it just gave you a sense of pride in who you were and who you look like. Because again, that's not something that we choose. We're just born that way. Even though I do love being Black and beautiful, absolutely. But again, I just feel like the music and civil rights, they were so entwined. And I don't know what one would have looked like without the other. But it's powerful. Would I recommend the STAX Museum? If you had to go to a museum and go to Memphis, when you go to Memphis, I would definitely say go to the National Civil Rights. And if you had time, then go to STAX after that. But again, civil rights and music, they were so intertwined, and I don't know how one would have survived without the other. The next place I went to was the Bill Weathers. I think that was his name, if I'm saying it correctly. He was a civil rights photographer. So I went to Beale Street. And at the end of Beale Street, he has an exhibit. And the pictures are just powerful, amazing. It made me a little bit emotional because it just seemed like, we're still fighting the same battles that we fought back then. But that's my account of the different museums in Memphis that I went to, and it was educational as well as emotional.